Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Etiquette. Today, we are going to be looking at a very important topic, mental health. And I am your host, as usual, Yaya Rudo, Yosawira Mukuru, on all things etiquette. In July, a lot of companies were celebrating Mental Health Month, but I think it's something that we need to talk about, not just once off, not once a year, not one particular month of the year, but as an everyday thing. See, the thing is, when someone is suffering from a headache, we are quite quick to find a Panado. When someone has a gynecological problem, we are also quite quick to advise where to go. But somehow, when it comes to mental health, we seem to have some reservations. We are uncomfortable talking about it because there is stigma around it. And yet, in reality, we are really talking about a specific part of the body that needs help, just like a headache, just like high blood pressure or diabetes. With me in the studio today to unpack this very important topic are three people. The other two, you are used to them. We have our usual pastor, Pastor Yvonne Matake. Please say hello.
Greetings. Thank you very much, Yaya Rudo. Greetings, audience.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Alan Chihobo.
Thank you so much, Rudo, our hosts. Thank you, co-presenters, and thank you to all our listeners and the crew behind the scenes. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so honored today because we have AJ. AJ is going to be sharing his journey with mental health. Welcome, AJ, and just say hello to our viewers.
Thank you very much. Hello, viewers. Hello, it's good to be here.
All right, thank you. I want to just also, again, just give you a heads up that if I ask or in one of us ask the question that you are not comfortable with, please don't hesitate to say pass. Don't hesitate to say, I don't want to answer that one. It is okay, all right? Don't feel any pressure. All right, so let's just start from there. Do you have any comments, anything that came from the people around you as you were journeying in your journey around mental health? Anything that people say that you felt, that is rude or that is disrespectful, or maybe even it just showed that they have no clue of what mental health is all about?
I think that happens more frequently than you would think because with something like mental health, you don't really know what is rude. So something as simple as saying, "Oh, you're being lazy" when it's depression. Something as simple as saying you're not putting enough effort when you literally are incapable of doing a certain thing. Something that's normal for everyone else. It can be seen as rude or disrespectful, but personally, I find it easier to see it as something as a thing of this person just doesn't understand. They're not in my head. So yeah, there's been a lot of rude things said or things that just make me uncomfortable or feel almost disrespected.
All right, but you kind of cut them some slack,
Yes, yes, yes,
thinking that
definitely.
they mean well, right?
Because it's better to think that way. It's better to believe that this person genuinely wants what's best for me
All right.
instead of thinking they're malicious, or because that does affect it does affect the mental way more than the comment itself. You sitting there and thinking, no, this person is out to hurt me, thinking that no, this person doesn't care about me. It does way more damage than the comment itself.
All right, it makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know, Mr. Chiwobo and Pastor Yvonne, do you think that our communities, our families, our society has improved in terms of just the general understanding of mental health issues? Or are we still where we were 10 years ago?
Um, Basically, I mean, I think there's some improvement. Both like looking at mental health issues. When we grew up, we didn't know some categories like, say, dementia, depression. whatever. So at least nowadays people have a moved some steps ahead instead of just believing that probably one is bewitched, the old way of looking at it. Nowadays, they seem to have been quite some improvement as to, I mean, how like what is it, health personnel are trained, like if nurses that deal with this thing, doctors that deal with this thing. Then we have also like some, I think some groups, that also like look into some of these issues, So I think basically we have an improvement, but there's still much more room for improvement along those lines, especially in terms of like treating them or trying to manage them. We have gone some bit of steps, but probably from a layman's point of view, to say how do you handle a person who has this condition, we still need to be upskilled, so to speak.
That's true. All right.
Yeah.
And what's your take, Pastor Yvonne?
Um, the way I view this, it depends on the age group. Or the age group like of our mothers and maybe generations before us, they are still really struggling to understand mental health. To them, mental health has to do with those people who are really out of their minds, who are doing very crazy things out there. If you try to tell your mother that I've been diagnosed of mental health and it's depression, they will not understand that. And they will even look at you and think that, eh, how can you fail to overcome? For example, you have told them issues that led you into that. They will start to say, how can you fail to overcome that? We've all gone through that. So you can
Yeah.
easily tell that they've not really understood the impact of certain things on our mental health. And you will see that generations way after us, like if I look at my children are well informed on this subject. So in my age group, I can say, yes, to some extent, we now have an understanding, but those who are coming way after us, they've got a deeper understanding. So it
That's true.
depends on the age group.
Well, that's important. I don't know, AJ, in your experience and as part of your journey, what was it like? Did you feel understood? What was it like for you? Because I am from that generation just behind you guys, where it is very new to us and we mean well. But I'm sure along the way we have hurt other people, not intentionally, but it's really because we actually don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do or not to do. We don't even know what questions to ask. How has that been for you?
Um, that's an experience. Because to be honest, that's my whole life story. Being misunderstood. Because, like I said earlier, you're not in my head where the pain is. So, and also to comment a little bit, the best way to understand mental health would be to look at three states of being. You have the mind, the body, and the soul. The body, it can get cut, it can get bruised, you can break a bone, and you'll go to a doctor, you'll go to this person, or there are traditional melodies that there are all these steps that you can take for the body, because it's obvious when the body is hurt. If you get a disease, if you get a virus, if you get the measles or something, it's the same with the being of the mind. That's where you get attacked by something similar to the flu, similar to a virus. It would be something along the lines of multiple personality disorder, somewhere along the lines of bipolar disorder, things that shift your mind. And all of this is done for the person's safety. There's no mental health disorder that isn't for the person's safety. It's just, if you think a harness is saving you, but it's strangling you, you sitting there won't exactly know, but you'll be aware that something's wrong. I guess what I'm trying to say is the only way to understand what the person is going through is to be there as they're going through it, because they're also learning. I didn't know until somewhere towards the end of last year that I was born with anxiety. I just always knew that every time where I'm in a new place, I immediately want to see the whole place. I want to be in some level of control, have something to hold on that won't make me feel the pounding feeling in my chest. It's crippling almost. And when people rush through the process of hearing out the description, when people rush through the process of getting an understanding, that's when it hurts, because it's like, okay, you want to help, but you're not willing to hear the whole story.
I don't know, like, this is for you, Mr. Chuhobo and Pastor Yvonne. Why do you think it is very hard for us to say, I'm not okay? And it's not a headache and it's not high blood pressure. I am not okay.
Okay. um, I think what makes it difficult to admit that you are not okay um, sometimes is the stigma that people attach with certain conditions. Instead of like trying to understand why you are in that condition. Suppose you are going through depression um, or some other things that affects your mental health. People are quick to say it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. There are cases where people rush to conclude that somebody is into drugs when it's not even that. So sometimes I'm saying people like kind like have ready answers to things that they don't understand fully. So sometimes to evade, deep explanations, because if you are not well, you have to, you sweat explaining to people what exactly is happening, where is it coming from, why is it like that, and so on. So a person would rather save his breath or save his energy by just saying, I'm okay, not that they're okay, but because what will people think, the rigorous questioning that they will go through when they admit that they are
They're
not
not
okay.
okay.
Yes.
Pastor Yvonne, do you feel the same?
Yes, I feel the same. And the other thing um, is how people comment.
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell someone, I'm not okay, and you try to explain what it is. Then, especially in our Christian setup, they can just say, pray about it, it will go away. It's just as simple as that. But pray about it, it will go away. Or, no, you are a big girl, you can overcome this. Those kind of things. And yet, they don't give you time to speak. And yet these things like mental health, you can easily pick that someone has got a mental disorder after you listen to them speaking. But people don't listen. People, if at some moment you have said it and people just brushed you off, then the next thing, you will not say it again. You will just fold yourself in and say, if I tell them, they'll just tell me that go and pray, or don't worry, it will go away. So why should I talk about it? And so you just don't talk about it. Mm.
So let's go back to AJ. In your own journey and your own experience, maybe can you just take us through what happened and what made you realize that this was not a headache, this was not high blood pressure or diabetes, it was a mental health problem? If you would like to just briefly share with us.
The exact moment I couldn't recall, but I think in 2022, around mid-year, this was my first year in college. I began, uh, what was going on kept getting worse. So I took a walk with one of my friends one day, and I told her that I'm beginning to think I'm delusional. Like I'm disassociating with the world, and I have no idea what it is. And she said the typical thing of, "Oh no, you're gonna be okay. It's just find something that will ground you in reality, but it's a thing of it was during the months that followed that I realized I wasn't disassociating for gain. I wasn't disassociating to get something. I was running away from reality, which sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That's when the link happened in my head that the disassociation with reality and the suicidal thoughts are one and the same thing. I just don't want to be here. And when I'm around people, that feeling gets worse. It's almost amplified. And not because people are mean or scary or whatever. It's this recurring thought that um, there's a book that I read. I'm forgetting its name, but it speaks about death anxiety. It's anxiety of death, not exactly fear, but the awareness that one day we're all going to die. And when I'm around people that make living feel good, that thought creeps up in the back of my head. And how do you speak about this with people? How do you tell them that I don't want to get closer to you because I know that one day you're going to die and leave me alone? It's something that's the first time I've said it out loud
So, sorry, AJ. So it meant whatever that feeling when it enveloped you, you can't enjoy the moment.
at all.
Because the moment you start to relax and enjoy where you are, the experience, the party, or whatever
Yeah.
that's going on, immediately that negative kicks in. Is that it?
Immediately, yes, immediately. Which is why the exact time I realized I can't really say, but it was definitely 2022 at the beginning of 2023 that I couldn't pretend anymore.
All
I
right.
was in Port Elizabeth. By 2023, I was there by myself, and it was confusing because I was happy being alone, but the loneliness was still there, and it was very difficult to subdue the suicidal thoughts by myself. But being by myself made the thoughts less frequent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a catch-22 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you want to be alone, but not really alone.
Yes.
At the same time, it was necessary for you to be alone.
Definitely. There's so much that I learned during that time. So much that I learned about myself. I stopped people pleasing. I stopped bending my back over
For
just
people.
to, for a little gratitude, just so that this person could stay in my life. And that's when I realized, once I came to the conclusion that, oh, I've been living my life this way, that's when I realized that this can't be just something that's in my head. This can't be a simple problem. This can't be bad habits that I've built up. This is something deeper, it's something more. And it was thereafter where a whole lot of stuff happened. I got hooked on substances for a little bit. Uh,
Sorry, AJ, was it for you trying to suppress the thought or because you were scared to talk about it?
it was an escape, so more fear to speak about it. And
Mm.
same thing that they mentioned, that what's the point of speaking when a person's gonna say, "Oh no, do this and you'll be fine." You almost see them start to get irritated when you're not making progress,
Mm.
and it's
Mm.
like, oh, okay, which is why I'm still in a position now in terms of substances. I will drink. I will drink heavily just for that escape, so that I'm still here. I'm going to wake up and go through this life thing all over again. But for this moment, for now, I can actually let down my guard. I can drop my shoulders. I can sit there and see the people I'm surrounded by. I can enjoy the relationships that I've been forging without thinking to myself, oh no, this person's going to die.
Mm. Mhm. So, what what made you, or rather, where did you get the courage to finally say, I'm not going to keep this to myself. I need to say something. It can't stay like this. Because I can imagine the journey that you have been through from that time in Port Elizabeth to today. For you to be able to talk about it, you are relaxed, and you are actually helping us as the older generation, because there is a lot that we are already learning from you sharing your path. So
Um, well, I'm glad I look relaxed. I am not
you are
relaxed.
not.
I am not relaxed at all. Um, but where exactly I found the confidence, I will not say. But I will say it's heavily related to why I am sitting here pushing myself through this, why I am deciding, okay, no, I need to do this. I am of the belief that God isn't in the habit of helping you the same way twice. And this is, I know that I can help people with my story. It's part of the reason why I continue to be alive.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not going to help anyone if I sit in the corner of the room saying, oh no, I'm scared of the camera and the big flashy lights.
Oh, wow.
So I am borrowing confidence with the hope that one day a person will see this and go, okay, it's just time.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that bravery. Thank you for being fearless and bold, because I know for sure right now there is someone who is right back in PE, confused, unsure of what's happening. Some are even in the early stages. And I can imagine the early stages when you can't figure out what is exactly happening. This is not me, and they are listening to you share your path, sharing that intimate side of your life with someone who is a stranger. I think it will impact thousands, hundreds, if not millions. So thank you for being brave.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I don't know, do you have any comments on what he has shared so far?
My comment is like, I'm so thrilled about how he's able to explain, I mean, the whole thing. Like, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in his position, and I'm thinking, if you're not going through it, and if you don't have the language, or the words to say it, you know, I'm really thrilled, AJ. You're really putting it through. We may not know how exactly to say do this or do this, but there's something that I'm understanding that I didn't understand before.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
me too, me
Mm,
too. And
mm,
I was actually thinking
mm.
that when, for in your darkest hour, what worked? Because I would be guessing to say I know what to do. It will really be
Okay.
trial and error. I got no clue. What worked for you?
Um, yeah, it really is trial and error. And to say that I found an exact thing that works, not really.
Okay.
But there's this story. It's a story of this boy who grows into be a man because he needs to become the king, right? And I relate to how how much this boy longs for freedom, and I base that around the stories I write. So in my darkest hour, I was sitting in basically an empty house with somebody else there who's, again, I'd like not to speak about
It's all
that.
right. It's okay.
But it was a combination of that person, the story, and coming to terms with what God gave me. He gave me this ability to write, and
And you are a good writer. I've read your
thank you.
stories. You write very well.
And I believe that if anything, there is something that's beautiful waiting at the end of, at the end of that story that I'm going to write, at the end of that world I'll create. So what works is escape, but in a way that's deep in the pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me throw it back to Mr. Chiwobo and Pastor Yvonne. That do you think that being strong is killing us?
I
Because I think to some extent it's actually killing us.
I think you're spot on, yeah, Rudo. Um, like you have said earlier on that there is a general failure by people who are suffering to admit that they have a problem. And with the advancement even of medical science or number of options that could be available, they can only be available to you once you open up that I'm going through this. And
Exactly.
like you're saying, I think a lot of people have lost the battle, and a lot of people probably are suffering because they feel, you know, we cannot talk about this, or you just feel I'll manage it on my own. So I think a problem shared, and especially shared with the right people, one way or the other, you may land on a way of managing it, or you may actually land on a solution to the problem. So a shared problem, shared with proper people, ideal people, I think at least you have some people to carry that load with, and who understand you or who seek to understand you
Yep.
um,
Yeah,
better with time.
that's true. Any comments, Pastor Yvonne?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Short, but I also want to add that sometimes people are really strong. There are some people who can really overcome it.
Okay.
Then there are some people who think they are strong, but with age, you see, like the age groups of our mothers, they start having those things like dementia. It doesn't just start there. It's got a root on some mental health issue that they had that was overlooked while they were growing old. So to some extent, yes, saying I'm strong is killing us. And
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, there are people who are really strong, even though they are rare, but they are there who can really overcome.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Um, as far as strength goes, uh, it's not always going to be helpful to have the person speak about it, and even the strong people will need saving. I say both of those things to say sometimes the knowledge that the person is physically there behind you, even when you're the strongest man in the world lifting the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you're steady, the knowledge that there's a person who isn't necessarily worried that you're going to fail and isn't babying you, but they're there, you know like, if you fail, they're there. When you succeed, they're
That,
there. That's more important than anything, really.
so even when we don't have intelligent answers to give you or support, the fact that I am there is okay with you.
It matters more.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. We are learning. We are learning. It's certainly a new
Mm.
area for a lot of us, and the good thing, however, is we are willing to learn. And with the awareness campaigns, and hopefully with you coming onto the program, someone will hear this message and feel that there is light at the end of the channel.
Sorry, Yaya.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm actually reminded of one article that I read from you about sometimes how we may have to behave when we get to people who are grieving or who are mourning their loved ones, where you actually said that or people were also commenting, probably supporting what we're saying. We're saying that sometimes just be there.
Oh,
Do, do,
yes,
do,
yeah.
don't say much, don't say whatever. So I'm actually glad to hear that AJ is saying, just being there quietly. Let's all come to a point where we can appreciate that that's good enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes, just being there, no solution, no answer,
no answers.
but you are there. You see,
Yeah,
so I'm actually glad that he is actually, admitting that it works to some extent.
yeah.
Whereas sometimes we think when we are there, we have to do things, we have to say
Ve-
things, we have to,
mm, mm,
and yet in the process, we may actually misfire.
that is
And
true.
yeah,
Yeah, in trying to say something, that's when we start breaking and hurting the
yes,
person we are trying to help.
yes,
Just
Yeah.
to add to that, I know of a lady who is going through anxiety. She grew up with a family. Everything was about her family, like close family, mother, father, and siblings. Now she gets married and she starts getting too anxious. The anxiety is so bad that the parents have actually been advised to sometimes bring her back home. And you start to wonder where that does that come from. But being a Christian, she you know, people like we always want to advise, don't be anxious for anything. Bring it before God and all will be well. She got to an extent where she says, don't speak to me about the Bible. So sometimes our words, even if they are from the word of God, will not help. Sometimes, like what he is saying, what you need is just the support. What you need is just someone being there. And I
Yeah.
think we need to be people who are willing to learn about their condition. Like if you are someone who is close or you're in family or you're a friend, learn about their condition so that you will know how to handle them better, to make them feel better. Like you would think that, oh, let me take them out for dinner in a place where there's a lot of people. Like he said, he doesn't want to be among people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So while you are thinking that you are helping, you're not helping. But if you know the condition very well, that he prefers to be alone, then you will take him to a resort somewhere where
this
there's
is
not
nature.
much happening,
Yeah.
you know. So I encourage that people who have people with mental health issues in their circles, they must learn and try to understand what the person is going through and find better ways of making them feel better.
Oh, yes. And again, there is no one answer fits all, right? So you need to know
Definitely.
your person,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
All right. Any parting shots?
Um, I will say mental health disorders, no matter what form they may show up in, they only feel like they're consuming a person's whole life. So I do believe that if you're going to be involved in this person's life, then you do have almost a responsibility to remind them or, you know, be happy with them when that disorder isn't present, when it isn't screaming at them. Not to make it a big deal when a person, say a person has depression, they haven't left their room, they haven't showered, everything's a mess. uh, to hyperfixate on the other end of the spectrum, saying clean your room. What if this? What if that? You're gonna get sick. This and that, and also saying, oh wow, you've cleaned your room. Oh wow, here's all the praise in the world. It makes a person feel like they're a showcase. It makes a person feel like,
Hey.
oh, I am being analyzed.
Uh-huh.
And that has spiked my anxiety, speaking personally. Just the thought of, okay, no, wait, they're actually watching me. Like, they're genuinely watching me.
So you really have to cut us some slack because it's such a
And
delicate position to be on. If I am a
yeah,
parent, I'm going to make a fuss over you, and when you
definitely.
clean the room, I'm going to make noise. Oh, you cleaned your room.
Definitely.
So,
And not to say it's like don't do it. I'm just
uh-huh.
saying pay attention to how they react from
Okay.
what you do.
Okay.
Because it's a thing. To put it in another example, if your child is going through something, and if they were to speak to their therapist, and the therapist says, okay, your relationship with your mother, and they come to the conclusion that this child has been coddled, this child now can't do anything without the mother. It's a thing of you have to take it from there and rebuild the relationship
I see.
and reestablish certain norms, because it is so delicate. There's nothing I can say to mention. Watch out for this. Watch out for that.
Yeah.
So the most I will say is pay very close attention to what they do that makes them happy and what they do that puts them in a position whereby they relapse. They fall back on the horrible coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you, AJ, for coming, and thank you for sharing your story with us. I believe that a lot of people will learn from you. And yes, you are already making an impact. You have just started doing so with us here in the studio. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is not an easy road, but we can all play our part. Let's be mindful. Let's pay attention and make them feel comfortable. It's not about cuddling or overpraising. You just have to find what works for the family member that you are trying to support. But yes, there is help out there. Please do not suffer in silence. Inbox if you have no one else to call or ask help for. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, a very good day to you all.